Hey gamers, welcome to the PTGC podcast. My name is Gerard. Joining me are my other hosts, Gio and Mike. Say hi, guys.
What up?
Hey,
Today's episode is about the latest Call of Duty announced at the Xbox Showcase, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We are all, I don't want to say avid Call of Duty players, but we're definitely veteran Call of Duty players. Uh, how did everyone think about this, especially the way that they had set it up in the showcase with it at the beginning and it at the end, basically, with its own little story. Starting with, let's go with Gio. Gio, tell me how your thoughts.
Well, to say, I didn't really like that they split it up like that, to be honest. I think they should have just either did it all in the beginning or just leave it all to the end. Because obviously that was one of the big games and the biggest games, probably the biggest game coming out this year, or probably the biggest hype behind it. So with a lot of expectations, especially with a game that's been developed for the last 4 years. So I think they should have either just kept it all together. I didn't kind of like that they split it up like that. But I kind of get it because maybe they wanted to tease people and keep people to watch the whole thing and wait till the actual showcase of Black Ops 6. But overall, I thought, honestly, it got me excited for the game because it's been a long time since I cared to play a Call of Duty. I've tried a couple of the recent ones, but I didn't really like them. They weren't for me. So this one, I'm hyped for.
All right. What
I
about
don't
you,
know
Mike?
why. I mean, I get it. Separating the two, sandwich it between the beginning and the ending. It makes sense. Did I really care for it? Could have just did it all in one shot, maybe. But I am, I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to go with high expectations, and then it kind of just like becomes just another Call of Duty. But so I'm excited. I don't know. The last Call of Duty I played is Black Ops 4, and that's just because of the battle royale, really.
Mhm.
And then I dabbled into some of the Call of Duty because my brother-in-law still plays, so I play here and there, but never caught my interest. But for sure, I probably will be playing this game for sure, just to try it because it is coming up with a lot of hype.
Hmm?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
excited.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it as well. The last Call of Duty I played was actually, I think, the Modern Warfare 2 remake. With the
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
we
last
played the
time.
Warzone a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
played Warzone. I actually played Zombies as well with some other friends. Mostly preferred the multiplayer out of that entire experience. But this is it. I'm hyped. My overall thoughts, kind of here and there. Like, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also like, my expectations is low because they have to be for fucking how Call of Duty and Activision has basically been over the years and all the releases. So if I really want to be hyped, but if I know if it's a letdown, this would destroy it. Call of Duty for me. But I have expectations because, like, and we'll go over it probably more in depth because I do want to talk about the omnidirectional movement and how it feels that new change into the game. But mostly, I think the new change is, for once, Activision didn't shit out a product in like 2 minutes. They're like,
Yeah.
they've been working on this game for 4 years, or at least 4 years, and we're finally seeing what a Call of Duty game would look like if they just took their time with it for once. Actually having dev time to fix bugs and issues and even come up with the product managers and everything like come up with features that lead to the directional movement and lead with corner slicing and lead with mantling and stuff like that, and true scale and smart casting or smart movement. So my overall thoughts are positive, but we have been burned before, and that leads me to basically my second question, because we've been burned about this before. And we've talked about this during the showcase. What are you guys' predictions, both positive predictions and just logical predictions, for the expo that's on in August for the multiplayer one, and hopefully just a more broader discussion on everything. So Gio, actually, you know what, Mike, I want to make Mike go first this time.
My expectations, or what?
Yeah,
I
your
think?
expectations, your predictions on the expo for August.
I'm not gonna lie. I really don't have any expectations or what I think is. I kind of just want to just be surprised. I don't want to think. I don't want to think about it. I just want to like help come in, just play it and feel it and see how it is.
I see what
'Cause
Mike's
then-
doing. He's not letting him. He's not setting himself up for
JL,
disappointment.
let him crash and burn on his own.
That's what he's doing. He's
JL, Mike,
Hey,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna be realistic. I don't have anything. I don't want to predict. I don't want expectation. Once the game comes out, I'm just gonna play it and see how and judge it on its value.
All right. Well, what about you, Gio? I know Gio has an opinion to share, calling out Mike.
well, yeah. Well, because Mike's he said, you know what? I'm just not even gonna think about it. Whatever comes out, comes out.
Yep.
This way, I'm not disappointed. He's like, you know what? Because if I don't hear what I hope I hear, you know what? I wasn't expecting that anyway. On the other hand, do want to see what the battle royale system they have for it, as I've become more of a battle royale player with Apex and Blackout. Blackout was the original one that got me into it. So I'm hoping I know they said the word Warzone, and maybe if they just do it without Infinity Ward Sledgehammer involved in any way, then I'm cool with it. But if it's like some kind of combination, some kind of merger, I don't want that. I can tell you right now, because I do not like how Warzone plays in comparison to how Blackout plays. So that's the big thing that I'm looking forward to seeing more about. We talked about it a little bit yesterday with the other episode and explaining that, we wanted to see more about multiplayer, but obviously they're taking their time with releasing that information because they know that's where all the expectations really are. And I'm going to be positive about the situation. I'm going to be positive that they're tightening up things. They're, crossing their T's, dotting their I's, doing all that stuff, making it as perfect as it can be before release.
All right.
Yeah, taking like what, 4 years?
Yeah.
Damn, Mike.
Yeah.
Better.
Mike just got to go.
I'm gonna jump on that. Like, yeah, my prediction for the expo is that they better present. Like, I'm hoping to get more explanation on more than just omnidirection and slicing, but like other things they thought of, because Mike is right. They've taken 4 years to make this game, and omnidirection is probably a very heavy thing to do, like for the engine and stuff like that. But if you take 4 years, there's got to be more than just that, right? It doesn't take 4 years to just make something that in your engine, and then it just being, I can move the model differently, and we can sprint in multiple directions. That there's got to be more than just omnidirectional. Like, corner slicing is another thing. They say that they reworked the AI to be more basically intelligent. They also said that they have added shortcuts to be like, ignore button presses and just auto do something, and you work with those settings together. And I go like, okay, are those the only 3 settings? Is there more settings? What other features have you made? Like, I want a little bit more in features, or, and this is a prediction I'm making, or that's all the features and they just tell us we've put so much polish on this. Like, for once, I would like a launch of a Call of Duty game not to be buggy as hell.
I would ask you this.
UI.
With all that too, man, how do I want to phrase that for you?
Phrasing.
Basically, all right, so let's say even map designs too. Like, that's a big thing too. That's been some of the critiques, especially in the regular multiplayer maps. If they do a battle royale, how many maps are they going to do? How big are they going to make these maps, etc.? I think with those 4 years, like you guys are saying, these map qualities need to be good. They mentioned it a little bit in the multiplayer briefly when they talked about it. There's like 4 maps that are set up for like a 2v2 mode as well as your normal 5v5, 6v6, whatever it is. But there's going to be 16 maps, I think they said. 16 maps, 4 that are going to be set up for like the 2v2 and regular. So it'll be like a close quarter maps. And then you got your medium-sized maps, 12 of them for your multiplayer. So
I don't remember if we got numbers.
Yeah, they did.
No. I meant like we got numbers that they're doing 2v2s and 6v6s, and we also got numbers on how many maps. I didn't remember, and I might be wrong. I might be misremembering. I didn't remember them telling us how many maps there were like that. We do know that they're 3-lane maps. So
they said 4 for at least the one that have that you can play both 2v2 and 6v6. There's definitely 4 of those. Now, medium size and large, I don't know if they're doing any larger maps.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's what I don't remember. I was like, I don't remember her ever saying, and I could be misremembering again, that there were different size maps. I do remember 3-lane maps that they went back to like old ways. Now, 3-lane maps are good and all. You just need to make sure that they're balanced and thematically appealing. Because, like, High Rise is thematically appealing. Like, you're on top of a building. That's so cool. And there's 3 lanes, though. 3 lanes on top. 3 lanes are kind of shortcuts on the bottom. And that right there... Robin?
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, that right there is an example of a well-loved map. And then you get the hated maps that make no sense. Like... I want to think of a hated map that won't get me in trouble, because every map that I can think of that has majority dislikes, you still have those fan lovers. Like everyone, Afghan's a good map that a lot of people are like not a little iffy about, and then still some people swear by Afghan. I'm just like, Afghan kind of sucks, man. Another one is Downpour. Or is it Downpour? Or the favela one.
Are you talking about?
Oh, I like
Downpour. Shipment is one of my favorites.
Shipment and Rust are the close combat ones, and they're probably gonna put another one. And
Nuketown. Yeah.
In my opinion, Nuketown was not 3 lanes, but it was a good non-3 lane map.
Because it was close quarter.
Yeah, and I do think, like. You have your Nuketowns, your Rust, your Shipments. Those, they're going to have one close quarter one. Nuketown, I would consider a middle map. Have the same formula for Nuketown, middle maps like that. And then 3-lane maps be your biggest maps. But
that makes sense.
We don't know what they're doing. They worked on this for 4 years. I would like to say that they know better, but that has proven me wrong before.
What do you think, Mike? What do you think? Do you think that's going to take? I'd say, like, do you think that's part of the 4 years that they took their time at looking at the criticism of recent games, their previous games involving maps, obviously the movement of the game and the battle royale, all that?
I know we talked about it, how like maybe improvements for like how we hope the maps were more interactive, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's
like
right.
I said, 4 years. I mean, you gotta think of something that's gonna be like mind blowing. That's why I'm like, I don't care. I just want to wait and see what happens, because the maps gotta be really, really pretty cool and really interactive, really, visual, like the rest.
Yeah,
appeasing. Because when you make a game for 4 years, I know we're emphasizing on this 4 years, but that's a long time to make a game and then to prepare. You have all this information at hand.
Well, let me ask you one question, Gerard, real quick. You both of you. Would it be worth the 4 years if the fluidity of the game feels like the Modern Warfare games and the original Black Ops games that we really loved and got us into the franchise in the first place?
Fluidity and movement, yes.
Yeah.
But
I hated Warzone movements.
I hated Warzone movements.
That's why I didn't want to play.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, and then to expand on Mike, yes, we are emphasizing 4 years, but the counter argument that I know I'm hearing the back in the voice in my head is like, oh, 4 years is not a long time to make a video game. They like you can't do so much in 4 years. In the back of my mind, it's like 4 years is usually not a long time to make a game from scratch. But
Correct.
they are working with a ready, like working engine. They
A copy
already
and paste.
yes. So they're already working from a baseline that would take the most amount of time, which is building the game engine. They are now just working on features and what do they want to adapt. In my opinion, all these Call of Duties, because they've mentioned it already, all the Call of Duties are basically being found out which is working, which doesn't work. Were all experiments to make this game, basically. It took them 4 years to make this game and just tried with all the other Call of Duties a feature here and there, switching it around to see what works and what doesn't work. And hopefully all the good features are in this game.
Here's my question to you. Now, it's kind of a concern. Now that I just thought about it, because we're talking about it, we're putting this emphasis on 4 years. What happens if this game doesn't? Yeah, if it bombs, now does Activision just stop caring and say no more of this waiting? We're just going to do the year to year, because if it bombs, at least, we got another game coming out next year. Like, do you guys have fear of that?
I have the opposite fear. And Mike, I would like to hear what Mike's thoughts are and your thoughts after I say this. Is that if this game bombs, I think they'll take the same direction like Gears of War did and go on hiatus. And don't wait a while before they start working on another Black Ops or another Call of Duty. Because if this game is 4 years, that means it was, one, a time investment, but also, two, it's a money dump. And if you lose a lot of money after 4 years, you don't have the ability to make it up, even if you release another Call of Duty next year, because you've already just hit. Your brand has taken a hit as well to the audience, because the audience don't want to buy another Call of Duty after hearing a game took 4 years to make and it's trash. So they know their next Call of Duty can't come out next year because, well, one, people would be very upset that you spent many time and money making this Call of Duty just to release another Call of Duty the next year. But two is also if they were going to release it yearly starting from like the year after that they released this, there was no point of starting doing this 4-year adventure for this game. They could have just released another yearly one. And that would hurt them economically and maybe bruise their trust, so they might take a year off just so they can like recover. Because now Activision is owned by Microsoft, so that same shit don't slide.
True. Mike, you wanna
I'll chime in
speak first?
on
Yeah, go ahead.
If it bombs, I'm never playing Call of Duty ever again. Oh, let's put it that way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people would feel that.
But that's me though, But there's still a fan. There's still a fan base.
Strong fan
right?
base.
If they were to release another one, it's still gonna get money out of it.
Oh,
It
no,
doesn't matter
100%.
doesn't matter the success of this game or not.
I think what Gerard is saying is to recoup from their losses will take more than 1 year or 1 or 2 more releases if it bombs. My combat to that, though, how I would combat that is, Gerard, there's so much hype going in just from pre-sales and stuff. I think they'll make the money they put into this game. Realistically, I think they're going to make it. Now, whether the player base stays playing and their projected profit from the game, that might be different, because now if people aren't buying the battle passes because the game bombed, they're not playing seasons later on, then I can see where you might say that's where they failed. But I think initial release and projected sales, whatever they have in mind, I think they'll make that. I think they'll make what they at least spent. They'll make that back.
I don't know, because take into consideration that Modern Warfare 3 took, I believe, 2 years to make. It took 2 years to make that game, and they made like the most sold Call of Duty game, right?
Mhm.
And that took 2 years. Now imagine that same game took double the amount. Okay? Double the amount of time.
Mhm.
That means it is more than double the cost. Because when you think about how game development works, it's not a stagnant cost overhead every year. It's not like, oh,
Mhm.
I pay $100,000 a year, so it's going to be a $400,000 game. No, it like compacts basically. 100,000 this year is 150,000 the next year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
300,000 the year after, and then it gets more and more expensive. So in order for them to make their money back, they have to see more money than the last most sold Call of Duty of all time has to make.
Was just the hype. They can't.
With
That's-
just hype.
Well,
With
Gerard, you
just
gotta.
hype.
All right, but listen to this, Gerard. Just
Modern
think about
Warfare
it real
3
quick.
was hype too.
No. But listen to this. Just being realistic with you on this too. We're 3 people that are saying we're gonna buy the game already. There's a lot of other players that are like us and old school players that are looking for that game that draws them back in. It's not that we stop liking Call of Duty's concept. It's one of the best concepts, one of the best games to play when done correctly, like the original ones. So
Okay.
there's going to be a lot of people that come back to the series, is what I'm saying with this game.
Here's my thoughts on it, and we'll leave it here so that we can get on to other topics. I feel that even if every person who bought Modern Warfare 3 was to buy Black Ops 6, they would still need extra players.
That's us. We didn't buy it. That's 3 right there. And what I'm saying is there's a lot
I
of
bought
us
it.
out
I
there.
bought Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, that's on
Warzone.
you. That was on you.
Warzone is not like. Did you not do multiplayer at all? Because that's the only way to play. That's the only way to buy it.
I didn't buy Modern Warfare 3.
You only
I think
bought
you're talking
Warzone. You
about.
played
I think
Warzone,
you're
right?
talking about the remake of 2. We played the remake of 2. We didn't play Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3
Oh,
came out this past November or October.
I own Modern Warfare 3. Anyway, even if every person bought Modern Warfare 3 were to buy Black Ops 6, you still need extra people. Even like you would need still more people even after like the most sold game. My point is Black Ops 6 has to be the most sold Call of Duty in order to succeed, in order to profit. It needs to be. If it's not, it didn't do it.
I mean, we don't know the cost, the actual cost.
It's not going to be
And-
cheaper than a game that took 2 years.
I know. I get what he's saying. But what I would say, Gerard, too, is if it doesn't bomb, it will happen because players like us who are still like skeptical and won't buy it at release, when they start hearing some of us that, hey, some of my old school friends are playing again. Oh, okay. I'll pick this one up because they're saying this is like the original ones. These are like the ones we used to enjoy. It will draw the money, but it can't bomb. It just can't bomb.
Okay.
'Cause, like,
we're gonna leave that there. Let's go on with our thoughts about the features that they did show at the showcase, which is omnidirectional slicing, or omnidirectional movement, corner slicing, and not more importantly, and the addition of I'm going to say smart movement, which basically are just settings that are like, instead of pressing A to mantle onto a wall, you just run up to the wall and it auto does it for you. So the mixtures of those 3 things combine into one, in my opinion, new movement. How do we feel about the new movement, or it's the hype that we feel about it, and more importantly, do we think it's going to be good?
I think it'd be good. It's an improvement. It's maybe a quality of life improvement. I don't see any. I mean, I would have to, try and play for myself to see it, but I think it's a good idea. I think it's a different direction, and maybe can bring a positive to the game. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
All right. What about you, Gio?
I like the introduction to Omni movement more so than anything. The smart movement, I think, is a good idea as well. I'm interested in seeing how it impacts playing multiplayer, how it changes the feel of it. That I'm a little skeptical of because we're so used to the normal prone and crouch kind of movement. So I'm interested in seeing how that impacts how we play the game and how it feels while we're playing it. So I do like that they're adding something new. Like I said, I like that I'm seeing them try to attack the things people have criticized the game for and the copy and paste constantly year after year. So I like the additions. I'm hoping it works out well because I think we've played other games that kind of have this stuff features anyway. So because I think smart movement is in Apex. I don't think you really have to press A or jump or anything to get up on a wall when you try to climb up.
I do.
I wouldn't call
Yeah,
it
jump.
smart movement, but
Yeah. No, yeah.
that's the
But
name of the system.
yeah, you have to press like A, but like you just walk up to the wall and A, and then it grabs and it leaps up.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. You don't press A in
Okay.
Call of Duty. That's what it's like. There's a setting to turn it off that you don't press A. You just walk to it.
Well, then that gets kind of fishy because like, what happens if you don't want to climb up and you climb up by accident and get shot in the face?
That's why they said you can turn it off. This is a good thing that we're bringing this up now.
Go ahead.
So-
What do you think about it?
What do I think about it? Okay. Well, I think, and I'm gonna bring up what Mike said. Just a point. He mentioned that this is an improvement, or not an improvement. Excuse me. What'd you say? A rework of the system, or I think this is just completely changing how the game works. It's not an old change. This is not going back to the old Call of Duties. I think this is going to fundamentally change how we play Call of Duty, because being able to sprint in any direction changes the game. Because now you no longer are depending on turn speed, which a lot of people make sure either their turn speed is high, but their aim down speed or their aim down sensitivity is slow so that they can turn corners faster. Now I can sprint into a door looking at the corner. That pre-firing motion just changes how Call of Duty works. Like, of course, there's going to be corner cappers now, but now that I can sprint into a door, I don't immediately have to spin around the moment I'm getting shot, because I have to sprint through the door. Because
Let me ask you something.
I was
real quick.
Yeah, what up?
Because it's going into your thing. Because you say you could sprint through the door, right?
Mhm.
Now, Black Ops does the dive, right?
Yeah.
Now I wonder, can you do the omni movement with the dive? Like, think about it. Like, so
They
you're
showed it
so
off,
used
yes.
to.
Yes, they
You
showed
can't-
it off. Yes, there's a clip that they have where they do the dive, and the dive is now basically a part of the Omni system, where you can, if you like, here's a good example. In the trailer, they showed someone dive and make a 360 turn, or 180 turn, excuse me, not a 360, a 180 turn, and that their body basically did this whole rotation rather than just, in the old one, your entire body, like you would just prone and you'd be in the air spinning like a helicopter. That you actually rotate in the air. The animation shows your body twisting to look backwards, and you land on your back rather than landing on your face, but just looking backwards. So that changes how that is. Does the dive really change? A little bit, because now you don't have to dive. You don't have to be walking in the direction you dive. You can be like sprinting or strafing and dive while strafing, looking down a corner or something like that. So they basically said if you can sprint in any direction, you can dive in any direction, which means that, and we'll add this up, corners are no longer safe. They also added corner slicing, which is a military tactic where you take an angle at a door peak, and you basically slowly strafe, so you're taking the room a slice at a time, so that you are making sure you are minimizing the amount of potential you are to harm. they basically implemented leaning, like sophisticated leaning into Call of Duty, which is a good tactic, and it's another combat against corner campers. So I do find that hilarious. But yeah, omnidirection, corner slicing, and even that smart movement, which is they only showed 3 settings in the trailer, but hopefully there's more than just 3, but we'll see. It's not really helpful. I'm fine with 3. I would like to see if they added more. But basically, you don't have to press a button is always a thing that in MMOs they do. Like when you go, hey, if you want to auto run, you just press this button. If you don't want that feature, you can turn it off. Or other settings, like if you want us to auto cast this, or you want us to smart cast this, toggle this on. Otherwise, you're just going to have to do this the hard way. And I love those kind of settings because that changes gameplay and lets us customize our gameplay. But it also does shortcuts, which helps a lot of players ease into a game. And then they realize, hey, I should have this off because in the case of Geo, I'm going to run into a wall and by accidentally walk too close and stand up on it and get shot in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to learn the hard way if your game style or your gameplay style doesn't match that kind of setting. But when you turn it off, eventually you'll get either used to it, or when you have it off and realize, like, I don't want to keep pressing this button, I turn it on and immediately my gameplay improves because now I can instead of pressing the button, I can now focus on the game a little bit less, a little 1 microsecond. Those are all good improvements, and I think all of them add up to being one large change to how Call of Duty is. And I don't think it's going to be anything similar to the old Call of Duties. I'm looking forward to it, not because I think it's going to give me back the old Call of Duty experience. I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to be a good shooter for once. Now, that's basically the entire podcast. All my main points, and I'm hopefully all your main points. Does anyone have any closing statements before we go? Because I think we've talked about Call of Duty very often, and it was about time we give it at least an episode for one of its games.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say they better be listening because they got a lot of expectations on that multiplayer expo. I'll tell you that much.
They'll definitely try to deliver at least to try their best. Anyway, that's it from us. Thanks for watching, and make sure you leave a comment down below telling us your thoughts about the new Call of Duty. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.